welcome back to my Let's Play. We're picking up right where we left off, and this episode actually marks the first episode where, obviously, spoiler alert, Tess is no longer with us. And when I first played this game and I got to this part, I thought, first of all, very, very sad moment, naturally. But I also thought, okay, this is gonna mark a substantial change in the gameplay, because up until this point you can kind of rely on Tess somewhat. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but you can kind of rely on her to help you take care of some of the enemies. But you'll see soon enough that Ellie can actually seriously handle her own. She doesn't have a weapon right now at the moment, but you'll sometimes see her kind of pick up a brick or a bottle and stun an enemy by throwing it at him or her. I think it's only male enemies that you see. So it's actually pretty interesting. So thankfully this game, I guess Naughty Dog had the smarts. Oh boy, I kind of opted to not go the stealthy route. I'm pretty sure they knew where I was anyway, so I was just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and engage in a little shootout here. But I honestly have to commend Naughty Dog for making this. Pretty much this does not feel like an escort mission, which, you know me, I really, oh gosh, I can't stand escort missions in games. I think most gamers don't, especially when they're like poorly executed and just outright annoying. Like, I mean, I understand that there's a bit of a challenge to them, and that's fine. I'm all for challenges, but sometimes it can get really a little bit out of hand with the character the person you're escorting being very kind of not, how do you say it, not smart. They kind of run right into the danger. You have to go after them, or they're pretty much defenseless. So I kind of like that Naughty Dog did that with this game, and it makes sense because, I mean, you can tell right from the game's cover that the majority of the game is going to be kind of Joel and Ellie by themselves. I'm cutting through the office here. I'm pretty sure they know where I am, or they have some idea. So I'm going to try to see if I can pick off enemies one at a time. But I doubt that stealth is really going to work very well here. At least not for a long period of time. Alright, so I know that there's a guy up there. What? I'm trying to think. Now that I kind of brought up this topic of escort missions in games, what would be the absolute worst escort mission? And it doesn't even have to be a traditional escort mission. It could be a mission or just some section in the game where you're accompanied by an NPC and he or she, they may be armed, like they may be fully capable of handling themselves in theory, I have to say, but they turn out not to be satisfactory side characters or
stay with me, come on,
or characters who accompany you. So what is your guys' experience with that? And I'm trying to think, what is the absolute worst experience I've had with escort mission / co-op, if you will. And I have to say I have a few in mind.
Where is this guy?
One of them, oh boy. One of them, let me see, I'm going to try to see if I can stealth approach this guy, make my life a little bit easier. One game that really comes to mind, at least one part, is there's a section.
Come on, Ellie.
Right behind you.
There's a section in Resident Evil Revelations, the first Revelations. I have yet to play the second one. I realized it came out and I haven't even played it yet. I feel like I'm slipping, especially because it's Resident Evil. But so Resident Evil Revelations, the first game. And I can tell you without exaggeration, there was one part that was so bad, and I still don't know how to, not that I don't know how to get past it, because I actually was able to get past it, but there was one part that is, to me, so poorly executed that even when I got past the part, I wasn't even satisfied. Like, you know how in well-designed games you have a sense of satisfaction when you defeat some kind of a challenge, because the challenge feels fair. The challenge is fair and it's tough, but it feels rewarding when you beat it. There's some games that do that very well, and it makes you feel a sense of accomplishment when you get through a part or beat the game as a whole. But there's one part in Revelations, and I believe Revelations is divided up into episodes or chapters, I think. There's one part, I believe it's episode or chapter 4, that really is just seriously just hair-pullingly bad. It's a part where you're playing as Jill Valentine and you're playing as an AI character. You're playing with an AI buddy, co-op buddy. And it's a boss battle. I can't remember the name of the boss. I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but it's a boss that you have to fight. It's a pretty big area, but it's an area with kind of a lot of offshoots. You're on a ship, and it's kind of a dining area with a lot of different areas. Is that right? I feel like that is, yeah. It's been a while since I played it. As a matter of fact, this was the reason why I stopped playing the game. I originally had it for the 3DS. That's the system it first came out on, and then it eventually came out for the Xbox 360 and the PS3. So that part right there was the part that caused me to rage quit. So anyway, you're playing a boss battle, and so you're dealing with not only the boss, but there's also constantly spawning enemies. So you have to deal with ammo as an issue. And the fact of the matter is that because you have that AI partner with you, it's like the game treats it as your AI partner's trying to help you out. But in my experience, he doesn't help you with anything. I've had countless times where I've died and he's literally sitting there staring at me, dying. I'm trying to take on like about 10 enemies at once, plus the boss. I'm running out of ammo, I'm running out of options, and it's the most frustrating experience ever. So even though it's not a strict escort mission in the sense that, and the definition that I'm using is protecting the person that you're escorting to prevent them from dying, him or her from dying. So it's not an issue of the AI partner dying, it's an issue of him not helping you out, and the game is acting like he's supposed to help you out. That is one of the most frustrating moments in video games for me that I can think of, just off the top of my head. As a matter of fact, I wrote about it in a blog. I was just so livid, and so I rage quit when I bought it. When I bought the game on the 3DS, that's as far as I got, because I said this is absolutely ridiculous. But then when the game got ported to other systems, I said, you know what? I can't let that discourage me. Let me try to figure this out. So I got it for the Xbox 360, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try this again. Maybe it was just me was having a bad day. Maybe there's just a whole bunch of elements that were contributing to me not being able to concentrate. So I said, okay, it can't be that bad. Boy, was I wrong. It was just as bad, if not worse. Once again, and I was streaming this. I was live streaming this on Twitch. So people that were, some of my viewers had the patience of a saint, and they tried to help me. They tried to give me tips. So, you're gonna make it, the whole pep talk. And I mean, I was just, you know how people fake anger, certain Let's Players fake anger, or there's just kind of this persona that they put on. No, this was real 100%. I want to throw this game out the fucking window. I'm not even kidding. I was really mad. I tend not to put a persona on when I play games. If I get mad, that's genuine anger right there. Like, I really do. And sometimes I have to say that that's one of my faults, is I tend to be a little impatient when it comes to certain things. So that's something I definitely need to work on. I mean, it's a game, for crying out loud. But honestly, I feel like with that particular experience, with Revelations, that chapter, my anger was honestly legitimate. And going back to the whole challenging elements in games, even when I got past the part, I finally, by some stroke of luck, had been able to get past the part, and I was able to play through most of the rest of the game. I didn't beat the game. What happened was I was having some issues with my Xbox at the time. It stopped reading the disc. It was really unfortunate. Thankfully, I thought it was a permanent thing because I'd had an Xbox 360 that had a disk drive that went bad after a while, but this one, so I had to get it replaced, which was ridiculous. But anyway, this one, I thought I was having the same issue again, but it just turns out that I happened to be playing it on a really hot day. It was summer when I was playing it, and I think that just had an impact. I was playing for a while, so it got really hot. So anyway, so going back to this, when I beat the game, and like I said, I was doing it on a live stream, and I finally beat it. Somebody actually said congratulations, not being sarcastic or anything like that, but they honestly, like, they saw most or all of my struggles through that part, and I said, you know what, I wasn't mean to the person, but I was just saying, you know what, I don't even feel happy that I got past that part. That part is so horribly designed that, you know, it doesn't even feel good that I got past the part. And even at this very moment, reflecting back on that, I still have no idea what the hell I did to get past that part, and I'm not looking forward to it. Believe me when I say that if I do a Let's Play, right now it's an if, I'm really not sure, because for multiple reasons, because I have a lot of other games that I'm thinking of. But if I get to that game, because it is a Resident Evil game after all, and I love the series, you know me, I honestly am gonna have to look up some strategy guides for that, just for that particular part, because I want to make that as painless as possible. And yeah, what I'm doing right here is I'm just trying to figure out, these guys are moving in a way where it's pretty much going to be difficult for me to stealth kill them. So, but I'm still trying to hold on to that hope that I can stealth kill at least one of these guys. I'm really hoping that one of them walks this way so I can grab him and kill him. But slowly but surely that's coming to not be the case. Oh. Actually, oh.
Well, that shit. You see anything?
Oh. See, I thought I was going to be able to grab this guy, but the other guy's facing him and is like 3 feet away, which is ridiculous. So I have to say that was one moment with an AI partner that was truly terrible. And the thing is that a lot of people really complain about Resident Evil 5 in terms of your AI partner. And for some reason, a lot of people specifically, they don't fault the AI. The AI that was programmed in the game. They fault the character. They fault Sheva, who's one of the main characters in Resident Evil 5. And I find that incredibly strange, because honestly, whenever I'm playing Resident Evil 5 by myself, I always prefer to play as Chris and to have Sheva as the AI partner. You know why? The AI is not great. It's not. Don't play, believe me, take this as a pro tip. Do not play Resident Evil 5 on professional mode if you have an AI partner. Get a friend to help you with that, because it's impossible. Professional, if you get hit and you have to get healed by your partner, you can pretty much consider that a game over anyway, because your partner's not going to heal you. They're just going to sit there and stare at you and watch you die because they're evil. But anyway, people really fault Sheva specifically, and I'm like, you know what? No, that doesn't make any sense, because as a matter of fact, I think it's even worse if you play as Sheva and you have Chris as the AI partner, because check out my experience. Especially if you play on the higher difficulty levels, excluding professional. So I think veteran is the second highest difficulty. So you play that, and for some reason, if you're playing as Sheva and Chris is obviously going to be your AI partner, the problem is that for some reason Chris stands about a foot or two in front of you. So he actually blocks, for me at least, this is my experience, maybe it's different for everybody, he blocks a lot of your view. And he's a big dude. I mean, you know, he's kind of hitting the stairways. He's really jacked up. And so at this point, by the way, in this game, I just said F it, and I'm just going to make a quick dash to the train station. Hope to God oh gosh. Hope to God Ellie doesn't. How are these guys shooting at me so accurately? Wow. Jeez.
Damn it.
gosh. So I don't know how far they're going to chase me, so I'm just going to go ahead and run in here. So anyway, so for some reason, Chris stands about a foot in front of you.
I repeat, no target.
There's a soldier over there.
Hold your position and wait for reinforcements. Copy that.
How the hell are you breathing in this stuff?
I wasn't lying to you.
You spot him? No. Place is empty. Search the area.
So here's another area
Out of here before any clickers show up.
with more human enemies, and I'm just going to see how I'm going to approach these guys. So Chris stands about a foot in front of you, and so it makes it really hard to see, and sometimes that can really get you in the end in terms of when enemies are attacking you. At least Sheva, I don't know if she stands in front of you in the same way, but at least Sheva's a little smaller, so it's a little easier to see around her, if anything. So that's kind of my mentality. That's kind of my approach with Resident Evil 5. And speaking of Resident Evil 5 on professional mode, I did get killed by a chicken one time. Don't laugh. That really does happen. Those chickens really, really don't play around. Don't mess with the chickens in Resident Evil 5. Don't. There's a pro tip for you. Another one. Don't say I never gave you guys anything. Alright, so this guy clearly knows. He was alerted. He saw me kill his friend.
Two ways out of
So I'm just going to see if I can grab him. See, I never know how much an enemy can see. I mean, it's pretty dark in here. Kind of pretty low visibility because of these spores. Kind of this cloud of spores. But I never know how far the enemies can see. Part of me, I have such a bad habit of like being accustomed to Metal Gear Solid with the map at the top. I'm assuming that in higher difficulties that map is not available. Kind of this HUD, this HUD. And if you've not played Metal Gear Solid, then basically what that is it's a map and it shows you where the enemies are at any given time, for the most part, unless you're spotted. I think the map goes away, but it shows you where the enemies are. They're marked by a dot, and it shows you kind of a cone in front of them, kind of a conical shape that gives you an idea of how far they can see. So I've always kind of used that to my advantage. So I'm spoiled by that, so I kind of want that in this game. And I act like that helps me. That helps me to be a better gamer in terms of stealth, and no, it's not true. Alright, so I have no idea. I'm just gonna check to see what's in this area. It's really dark, but I'm kind of too afraid to turn on the light because I don't know if there's anybody else in here. But that's the wrong way. We have to keep going through onto the train tracks and that sort of thing. And what is up with every modern game having a train level, for crying out loud? I mean, you see it here. Resident Evil, wasn't there a Resident Evil that had a train? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Silent Hill 4 had a train level. You have this game, Left 4 Dead. The first Left 4 Dead had a train level as well. And by the way, I mentioned that game a lot. Like I said, I mentioned it a lot because it's really a fun game. And I haven't played it in a long time. I mentioned it a lot, but the truth of the matter is,
I can't swim.
We'll figure something out.
okay, so this is one of the game's gimmicks here, that Ellie can't swim. So usually what you have to do in this case is you have to try to find some kind of pallet, and pallets so you can kind of ferry her across. You can move her across whatever body of water it is that you're swimming in. So what I'm just checking in over here, I don't think there's any enemies in this particular area. I don't know how the hell she made it over here, but maybe she can walk on water, I don't know. But usually you have to kind of ferry her across that way. So I'm just gonna keep going. Like I said, I don't think there's any enemies in the area, any infected so far. It looks like there should be, but I think now is a good time to stop this video. So I will be back in the next one.